This video is brought to you by SoccerPro.com, offering everyday low prices on all the latest soccer gear with no membership fees. Don't forget to use coupon code SR4U at checkout for 10% off any order of $75 or more. Hey guys, Josh from SoccerReviewsForYou.com, bringing you a retro unboxing plus on-feet video of the Nike Mercurial Vapor 3. Now if you guys enjoy the retro unboxing series on my channel, be sure to support the video with a like. It takes a lot of time and effort to hunt down some of these older models that are not only pretty hard to come by, but also fairly expensive to bring in. So again, if you want to continue seeing the retro unboxing series on my channel, just be sure to leave a like on the video. So I'll get the shoes out of the box here. Unfortunately, I do not have the original box and the bag that it would normally come with, but I do have the shoes in brand new condition and more importantly in my size, which is why I'll be able to do an on feet for you. So this is the Mercurial Vapor 3, obviously the soft ground stud pattern in the very popular Cactus green colorway. Now the Vapor 3 is viewed by many as the best Mercurial Vapor of all time, and for good reason. It's an absolutely fantastic shoe, and you can just see by the shape of the boot, it just has a very unique, very modern, futuristic look about it. This is probably one of the cleanest looking shoes of all time in my opinion. The graphics on the shoe are very, very simple, and all the colorways that they released were just fantastic. I believe they released 14 colorways in total for the Vapor 3, which is a ton. This is the Cactus green colorway. You don't see this one too often anymore. If you go on eBay to look for a pair for yourself, you're most likely going to find a lot of blue ones, but the Cactus green one is fairly rare, and I'm really happy I was able to find one. So you do have this very nice Cactus green color. Has kind of like a almost sparkly finish to it. It's very difficult to describe in person. And then of course you do have that graphic at the heel with your white and metallic silver. Kind of starts off in these little dots and then moves into this kind of wavy looking pattern. Very, very good looking shoe, and overall just a really big fan of this particular colorway. Now as far as what is significant about the Vapor 3, one, it's the first ever Mercurial Vapor to feature Teijin synthetic. The Vapor 1 and 2 used what they called Nike skin at the time. Not the Nike skin you see now on the Hypervenom Phantom, but a different kind of Nike skin. So like I said, this shoe does feature Teijin synthetic on the upper itself, and it's just really high quality. You can see how thin it is. It's not nearly as thin as what you're going to find on current model Mercurial Vapors, but the quality is still there. And this is one of those shoes that definitely required some break-in time, but was still very, very popular. You do have, of course, your central lacing system, which is kind of a signature of the Mercurial series. I don't think that's ever going to change. You got your MV logo right there, your Nike swoosh logo with this little flap, and I wish they still did the little flap with the fold over tongue. Unfortunately, the tongue is just really short on the Vapor 3, so you can't really fold it over so it stays. But you can see that is the underside of the tongue. It's white, and of course you have your Cactus green Nike swoosh. I really wish they would put that flap on the modern ones. I think it's just a cool little addition, and even if it doesn't flap down, it's just that little bit of extra length in the tongue that makes a big difference in the comfort overall, at least in my opinion. You do have your one embossed Nike logo right there at the toe as well. And overall, just a really, really clean looking shoe. What's cool about the design of the Vapor 3, as well as a lot of the Vapors previous to this, even the Vapor 4, is that the upper kind of flowed into the sole plate, and you can see that the sole plate itself has the same finish as the rest of the upper, so it has a very clean look about it. It would make for some pretty easy scraping at the base of the sole plate, which is unfortunate, but overall, just from a look standpoint, it has a very cool, very clean styling about it, which is something that I'm personally a big fan of. Obviously, you do have your visible carbon fiber here at the heel, which acts as kind of like a cup at the bottom there, acting as kind of a support element to keep your heel locked in place and prevent any kind of movement. And there is also an internal plastic heel counter along with the carbon fiber on the outside. It doesn't seem like it would be all that effective, but when you put the shoe on, you can definitely tell there's a lot of extra stiffness in the heel and midfoot area of the boot, which is also why this caused a lot of blisters. This was the first Vapor, along with the Vapor 4 after it, to introduce this kind of I don't even know what you would call it, this perforated padding material. You can see it's in yellow here. On the Vapor 4 you had two pink pads on either side of the ankle, whereas on the Vapor 3 it goes all the way around the heel liner as well as on the sides of the ankles. And if you remove the insole, you're also going to see that it's at the bottom of the heel as well. Now this material itself is very, very abrasive, and it seems pretty comfortable when you just touch it with your finger, but when you put the shoe on, you can definitely tell that it's very, very stiff. It's kind of uncomfortable. It really grips your heel, and after some break-in time, it works really, really well, and it provides some great lockdown on the inside of the shoe, but for whatever reason, it causes some major blisters. So break-in time had to be slow, and regardless of who you were probably going to get blisters. You had to get them at least once until the shoes started to feel comfortable. That's just the nature of this particular boot. But for a lot of people, they viewed that as a positive thing and they like the feel, and that's why the Vapor 3 is regarded as one of the best Mercurial Vapors of all time. Just to give you guys a quick look at the insole here, you can see that it does have the Nike Mercurial logo right there. It does say made in Italy because these ones were made in Italy. Some of the current Vapors are still made in Italy. It depends on the colorways. Some are made in Bosnia, some are made in China, but I believe all of the Vapor 3s were made in Italy. You got your synthetic leather liner on the top. It's pretty much your standard EVA foam with a little bit of pour-on going through the forefoot and midfoot area of the shoe. You can see that there is a little bit of a cutout here at the heel. It's a little bit thinner than the rest of the insole, and that's so it can flow with that extra bulk that you're going to find on the inside with this kind of heel liner there in this yellow perforated material. Through the midfoot, as you can see, you do have a carbon fiber shank, which provides some really good stiffness to the midfoot of the shoe. Again, part of the reason why you would get blisters, but after the shoe was broken in, it had that long-lasting rigidity, which is what you look for from pretty much any soccer shoe, especially one that is this lightweight. It didn't last, it was a long-lasting shoe, which is always important. A lot of lightweight shoes nowadays are not the most durable, but something like this was built to last, which is always a good thing. We move on to the sole plate and stud pattern. Again, the sole plate is plastic underneath. You do have your carbon fiber shank through the middle, and of course it's covered with this finish to match the rest of the upper itself. Has that really cool look. And then you can see they have basically these stud plates that they've glued on over top of the sole plate. In this case, this is the soft ground stud pattern. So normally on the firm ground version, these two kind of stud plates would be completely separate, but they are attached on the soft ground version. Just because the studs are a little bit longer, it needs to be more heavily reinforced. And the same goes for the stud plate in the forefoot area. Normally there would not be a link between the two, but again, the studs are longer and the extra support is necessary. You can see the studs themselves on this particular shoe are very, very long. Normally with the soft grounds that Nike releases now, especially if you buy a top-end model, you get two sets of studs where they'd be 11 millimeters in the forefoot, 13 millimeters in the heel, as well as a longer set that are 13 millimeters in the forefoot and 15 in the heel. These are definitely 13s and 15s, very, very long, very aggressive, soft ground stud pattern. The ground would really, really need to be soft for you to use this appropriately, because you can see how long the studs actually are. They are removable as well. You can see there's a little bit of a clear window there, so you can see the inside mechanism on the stud itself, where the metal tip would actually screw into the base of the sole plate. So overall, a very, very cool looking shoe. Really happy with how this looks. The Mercurial Vapor 3 is one of the best ever for good reason. It truly is one of those shoes that was ahead of its time, and even if it released today, I think a lot of people would still be happy with the amount of innovation that is still relevant from this particular shoe, even though it is from 2006. So that's pretty much it as far as the unboxing portion of this video goes. And move on to a quick weigh-in so you can see how lightweight these shoes are. In 2006, the Nike Mercurial Vapor 3 was one of the lightest shoes available on the market. The firm ground version weighed in somewhere around the 8-ounce mark, which isn't really super lightweight by today's standards, but it still is a lightweight shoe, whereas the soft ground version, like I have here, tends to weigh a little bit more and doesn't feel quite as lightweight. So I'm going to weigh this pair for you today in real time. Keep in mind that this shoe is in brand new condition in a size 9.5 US. We're going to throw it on the scale, and you can see that these guys weigh in at 9.4 ounces. So is it considered an ultra lightweight soccer shoe? Absolutely not. Obviously you do have these very large metal studs on there, which does make up for some of the weight, but for the most part, considering that it is supposed to be a lightweight shoe, it probably isn't as light as most people would like it to be. And in comparison to a soft ground Pro Mercurial Vapor 9, it definitely does weigh a little bit more than your average modern soft ground Vapor from Nike. So that's pretty much it as far as the weigh-in portion of this video goes. And I move on to a quick on feet so you can get a better idea as to how these shoes fit and what the sizing is like. Alright, here's a look at the Mercurial Vapor 3's on feet. And I have to say I'm really impressed with how this shoe fits. If you guys watched my last video where I did a retro unboxing of the Mercurial Vapor 4, I said the fit was a little bit bulky. It wasn't like a modern Mercurial. The Vapor 3 is completely different. It fits every bit as good as the current model Mercurial Vapor 9, and the shape on this boot, in my opinion, is near perfect. It really has that tight fit all the way around your foot, in the toe box, the forefoot area, the midfoot, and the heel especially. You definitely can tell that there is a lot of extra rigidity and extra material in the heel and midfoot, which would cause some blisters after a couple hours of wear time. But once the shoes were broken in, they fit pretty comfortably, and overall you just had a really good playing experience. The Tahitian synthetic from right out of the box is fairly stiff. Again, this is because they are brand new, and it could be an age thing as well. The shoes themselves are 7 years old at this point, but I'm sure after, again, a couple hours of wear time, you would find the Tahitian synthetic to soften up and overall just feel a lot more natural and comfortable on your foot. Really good looking shoe, as you can see. One of the things that was most notable about this particular shoe is because the synthetic was so stiff, it did crease up a lot, which is something that a lot of people were not big fans of. You definitely can tell a used pair apart from a new pair. Obviously this one has very few creases, and I'm avoiding bending my foot just to crease them up, but overall, really impressed by how this shoe fits, especially in comparison to a modern Mercurial Vapor 9. As far as sizing goes, I'm wearing a size 9.5 US as opposed to my usual size 9, and it's definitely necessary to go up a half size if you are sizing in comparison to a current model Mercurial. Normally I wear a size 9. 9.5 fits me absolutely perfectly, so if you are looking to order a pair of these for yourself online, you find a pair on eBay, I would definitely recommend going a half size up. So that's pretty much it as far as what they look like on feet, and move on to my final thoughts. Alright guys, that's it for my retro unboxing of the Nike Mercurial Vapor 3. You can see why this was such a popular shoe, and it's hard to argue that this isn't one of the greatest shoes of all time. So if you guys do have any questions, feel free to leave a comment down below. If you did enjoy today's video, be sure to support it with a like. If you guys would like to see some detailed images of this particular shoe, just to get a better idea as to how it actually looks in person, be sure to check out the review page on my website. You can find a link to that down below in the description. Subscribe if you haven't already for daily videos on all the latest soccer gear. You can find all of my social media links down below in the description. And other than that, guys, hope you enjoyed today's video. And as always, thanks for watching.